That's a good question too. The Haskell algorithm has an extensive learning curve. So first, it's not algorithm; it's the programming language. And the question is about, well, is the language too complicated and you're necessarily excluding all your developers? Here's the thing. At the end of the day, this is a very boutique platform, as is Ethereum, as is Bitcoin, and there's not going to be a lot of developers in the beginning. And these platforms involve money, privacy, identity. They involve your property. And as a consequence, the consequence of failure is very high. When you write a web page and you screw something up with the formatting, the end result of that is your user has a broken page, or the button is too high or too low, and you say, crap, that's bad, it's embarrassing, it's like a spelling mistake. Nobody dies. When privacy code fails, people can die. When money code fails, people lose everything. So you have to take a step back and ask yourself, for your first cohort of developers, the people who are going to deliver the 1.0 user experiences, is it a better idea to say, let's have them be as broad as possible, as many people as possible, with the full understanding that those people probably aren't going to know what they're doing, and they're going to deliver a lot of junk to market, which means that the user experience will suffer and people will lose their money? Or is it a better idea to try to have your first cohort of developers be somewhat informed, somewhat skilled, and deliver great experiences which are secure and actually work, and showcase what the platform can do? In other words, if you're building the Xbox, would you rather launch it with 1,000 crappy games, or would you rather launch it with 5 to 10 really good games? Now, we already have the 1,000 crappy games. We have Ethereum. We have lots and lots of people writing a lot of stuff, and they're having a heck of a lot of fun pushing it out, and most of it doesn't work, and most of it really is insecure. And if you're actually trying to put it into a production system, it's going to burn like hell. And so given that market segment's already taken, I don't really want to compete with that market segment at the moment. What I'd much rather do is have 50 to 100 really, really good dApps and 50 to 100 really good applications written by very experienced, nice developers. And by going niche, you can do that, because right now there's nothing for the functional programming community in the cryptocurrency space. It's very distasteful to go to a Haskell, OCaml, Clojure, Scala, F# developer and say, I know you love that ecosystem, you love types, you love monads, you love these things, but yeah, throw all that away and go write JavaScript code. Like, the whole reason that they moved over to Haskell is because they don't want to do that. And so what we're doing is offering a niche market for that group of people to come in and deliver great experiences. Now, the way we've designed things, after that initial cohort runs everything out, it's easy for us to open it up to imperative languages, and it's easy for us to open it up for different development models. Now, there's already market precedence for this. If you look at the development of the iPhone, the initial cohort of iPhone applications was tightly curated. It wasn't just like everybody was just writing stuff. Apple was very careful about user experience, and so much so that Steve Jobs went to John Doerr, and they set up a special fund specifically to finance iPhone apps. I think it was around $100 million. And they went to Kleiner Perkins for good reason, because they were the best VC in the Valley, and still are one of the best VCs in the Valley. So I agree with Steve Jobs here. I think that he had the right strategy for how to introduce a new platform and new capabilities to the consumer. You have to hold their hand a little bit, and that necessarily means that you're going to put a higher burden on the developer for version 1. But that translates to a better user experience, more security, and overall more functionality. Then, over time, you can open up the ecosystem and make the ecosystem far more accessible. And then you get a next wave of developers in, and you actually have the best of both worlds, because you still have these old guard cohort that are very experienced, they know what they're doing, and they've shipped things, and they become mentors, advisors, Stack Exchange question answerers for the new people who are coming in. Because otherwise, it's just going to be a free-for-all, and it's going to be a mess. So that's why we chose Haskell and Plutus and this approach. And We invested in some technologies that we think over a longer time horizon can bring in the rest of the groups of people. But let's get 50 to 100 real apps that are doing great work and actually used and people care about. And let's make sure they're written really well and they have a great user experience. And then once we have those things together, then we're in a position to open it up and get the 1,000 and then the 10,000 and the 100,000 and so forth.